Hello and welcome to Allegedly Astrology. Each week we break down the astrology that happened during some of the biggest scandals and events in history.
And this is our mini-sode where we do a quick chart on a trending news topic.
So Dana, what allegedly in the news topic are we talking about today?
The death of Ted Turner.
Yes, Ted Turner was a media mogul, environmentalist, and philanthropist that is considered to be one of the most important figures in media history. He founded CNN, which was the first 24-hour cable news channel, WTVS, which pioneered the superstation concept in cable television, as well as networks like TNT, TBS, Cartoon Network, and Turner Classic Movies. He also was the owner of the Atlanta Braves, and he did all of this before passing away at his home in Florida at the age of 87. So let's take a look at Ted's life and his astrology.
Robert Edward Turner III was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, to his mom, Florence, and dad, Robert Edward Turner II, who was a billboard magnate and also a dickhead who was allegedly an abusive alcoholic. And during the summers, Ted worked for his father's company painting billboards, and his father made him use his wages to pay for his room and meals when he was at home in Savannah. Dana, what's that birth chart like?
Okay, Ted Turner was born on November 19th, 1938 at 8:50 a.m. in Cincinnati, Ohio, and he has a Scorpio Sun, a Libra Moon, and a Sagittarius Rising.
Interesting
So-
combo.
Yeah, it's 3 signs in a row, which is interesting to me. He's
Wait,
born
I
also-
knew he was going to be Sagittarius because he said, just researching him, he says some very Sagittarius
Like
things.
what? Do you remember anything?
He said, I'm not an entrepreneur, I'm an explorer or an adventurer.
Yes, he loved
Sure.
He was a crazy, he's a really interesting guy. But yeah, he traveled all over the world all the time. It was very
That's really cool.
Sagittarius rising.
Yeah, that's right on brand. And he was born 2 days before a solar eclipse, which is some of these
Oh.
intense life experiences. Also having an intense father, solar sun. So his Scorpio Sun is in his 12th house, which is very good for entrepreneurs, or I guess explorers, if you maybe entrepreneur explorers, because they're never really of the world. So yeah, okay, Scorpio Sun in its 12th house. It's also conjunct Venus retrograde, so he's born during an eclipse season with Venus retrograde. He's all these like rare occurrences going on at the time of his birth. So he has sharp instincts, sensitivity that could be wielded for good or evil. And his moon in Libra in the 11th house is like something for everyone, right? No one's left behind. Also, like it's very 24-hour news cycle. Also, his ascendant is the exact same degree as America's, the signing of the Declaration. So that's a great Sagittarius.
Interesting.
So he was America's billionaire.
Also, too, he has Pluto in the 9th and Leo, which is like broadcasting. So it's like he is so powerful. Everybody knows him. He's so famous for revolutionizing media.
Yeah, like the kingpin of that.
And
Yeah.
also the 24-hour, the whole concept of the 24-hour news cycle is so American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's synonymous with America.
Like, we're going to give you
For-
news
for better
every
and for
hour.
worse, but it's
So overwhelming.
it really is.
And then he has Mercury rejoicing in the 1st house in Sagittarius. So there's like an ability to see things on a much larger scale, which is great for business, for planning different super networks. Is that what you called it? Super channel?
It's, yeah. I don't even know what that is, to be honest.
Something I do really like about Superstation. That's it. Something I really like about his chart is that he has Saturn. It's in fallen Aries, but it trines his ascendant, and it's in his 5th house. So he gets to do things his way, like structurally. Yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty shadowy chart. It's a chart that I don't know. I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll save some notes for later.
Ooh, okay.
So Ted eventually graduated in 1956 with good enough grades to get accepted into Brown, but he was no model student. A former classmate described Ted as a bigot, as maybe all of us were in a sense at the time.
The class, I know. But I guess it was like the 1950s or whatever. Everybody was like openly racist.
I don't know about that, but I guess I don't know. I guess he's from the South, but still,
Yes.
at Brown, like
Yeah, I don't know anything, but that scares me.
It's going to continue scaring you because the classmate went on to say that Ted drank excessively, sang Nazi songs outside a Jewish fraternity house, and
Jesus.
put up Ku Klux Klan signs on the dormitory doors of Black students. He was eventually expelled after being caught in bed with a woman in his dorm room.
So
That's what
not
did it?
not expelled for literal hate crimes,
No,
but for having a woman in his dorm room.
for premarital sex, yes.
Okay.
Wow. All right.
It's not even a religious
well,
university.
It's crazy. The times were crazy, but yeah, that's fucked up, Ted. Jesus. So after leaving Brown, Ted Turner went on to be the general manager at the Macon, Georgia branch of his father's business. His dad died when he was just 24, making him the president and chief executive of Turner Advertising Company. And then he took that firm and turned it into a global enterprise.
Because he created, like we said a little earlier, CNN, the cable news network, which revolutionized television news in 1980 by presenting it at all hours of the day. And Ted famously stated before CNN debuted that we won't be signing off until the world ends. We'll be on and we will cover the end of the world live, and that will be our last event. We'll play the national anthem only one time on the 1st of June, which was when the network debuted. And when the end of the world comes, we'll play Nearer My God to Thee before we sign off, which I feel like is so Sagittarius.
Yeah, that is really. Yeah.
It's like a lot of pomp and circumstance.
Yeah, so hardcore for a network that's become so soft.
Since his death, they have this tape. I'm sure it's now digitalized or whatever, but they have the tape that literally says "For the End of the World," and it's this band playing that song.
That's pretty cool. I think that's cool.
Okay.
That also is Scorpio to be like so dark, where it's like,
Yeah.
we're gonna do, and also so American to be like, we're gonna do this while the world is ending, and we're gonna broadcast the end of the world.
It's like how, I don't know, I feel like if you haven't been in a bar with a guy telling you how someone on the Titanic, the band played until they say goodbye. And, I don't know. You're not in
This kind
America.
of cat energy to just say that.
Yeah.
But CNN created the 24-hour news cycle and became a household name. George H.W. Bush famously said, "I learn more from CNN than I do from the CIA," which
Hell
is
yeah.
Interesting.
I don't
And
believe that.
eventually, other media operations had to follow suit.
But not everyone was into Ted. He actually had a long-running feud with fellow cable magnate Rupert Murdoch, which lasted for years.
Yes, the feud started when a Murdoch-sponsored yacht collided with the yacht skippered by Ted during the Sydney to Hobart yacht race, causing it to run aground. Okay. But yeah, Ted Turner was a big yacht sailing guy.
So rich.
And at the post-race dinner, Ted, obviously drunk, as he seemingly always was, verbally assaulted Murdoch and challenged him to a televised fistfight in Las Vegas.
Okay, like,
Cool.
besides the racism that he exhibited in the 1950s, he does seem like he would be fun.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't
He's
know.
like rich, being mean to Rupert Murdoch, who like sucks so hard at being
Sinking his
crazy.
ships.
Like crazy at a yacht party, which it's either going to be the best party or the worst party, because yacht people are like one way or the other. But Rupert would later create Fox News, I believe, in my heart, just to fuck with Ted. And it became a rival to CNN, a channel that Murdoch regarded with disdain for its liberal slant in news coverage.
And besides yelling at Rupert Murdoch and creating CNN, Ted took huge risks in business, teetering on the edge of bankruptcy, then roaring back to multiply his fortune multiple times. So, Dana, is there anything in his chart that would show he'd be successful?
Like, in terms of not at first glance. It's a very shadowy chart. So it's like this is a magnanimous person. But I do see the family wealth for sure because his second house is Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, which is in his fifth house. So it's in the fourth house. It's in the fourth house from the second house. The ruler of the second house is in the fourth house from the second house. So it's like the family house. It's like supporting it. He has this sort of support from the family of it. Also, though, he does have Pluto in Leo, like Sarah mentioned earlier, and it's sextile as Libra midheaven, which does really make for someone who will be successful and able to recover success over and over as long as they try. And also true, like, has widespread appeal. But I wouldn't look at this chart and say it doesn't say, like, the second house isn't, like, loaded or packed, but it's because he has this sort of, father support that he's able to, or paternal, maternal, could be his mother too. It's, like, in his blood, I would say. It's, like, DNA rich.
Yeah. Well, also too, we didn't talk about this, but his Chiron's in the 8th house, and he inherited a lot from his dad, and his dad committed suicide, so it's
Dark.
like a pain. Yeah.
This is a good example of someone who's success with a lot of debilitated planets. For instance, his Venus is in detriment and retrograde, and it's in mutual reception with his Mars in Libra, which is in detriment, and he has his Mercury in detriment in Sagittarius. He has his Saturn in fall in Aries. So yeah, there's a lot of planets here that are technically debilitated, but
So even
I
though
mean, he
this
had a great
chart
life,
doesn't
being a
indicate
bigot and all.
this chart doesn't indicate maybe the level of success that he was able to reach, but it doesn't mean that you can't do that.
Yeah, I think it's a good chart to look at. There are so many charts out there. Like again, Jamie Foxx, most talented man in the world. A lot of debilitated planets. So
Oh,
have a look, see at all those.
also something too is, like, he has his South Node in Taurus in the 6th house, which is, like, daily routine, and then Uranus is there, and I feel like daily routine shaking up the news cycle, like, it's
Yeah,
literally nonstop
it's
every day,
24
24
hours. It's not even a part of
hours.
the routine. It is the whole day.
It is your
Yeah.
entire day. My parents listen to CNN truly all day and, like, MSNBC, and it's, like, just blaring, blaring at all
Surround
times.
sound.
Yes. Besides him being a little turbulent in business, aka almost losing and gaining back all of his money, his personal life was very much the same. He was married 3 times, one of which was to the Oscar winning actress and activist Jane Fonda. And all of his relationships were often rocked by his open displays of infidelity, his heavy drinking, and his otherwise dickish behavior.
Yes. People called Ted the mouth of the South
I do like that nickname.
I do like
for
that.
his
The mouth
self
of the South.
for his self-aggrandizing claims and reputation for talking shit and hurling insults at people.
Imagine being known for just insulting anyone.
Very Sag with 3 in the first house. Yeah, he has a chart is made for it.
Oh, yeah, like him just saying he's the best at
I
everything.
do love that. Yeah. Sadly, I'm a big fan of self-aggrandizement.
In his early years, he joined the Young Republicans because he wanted to follow in the footsteps of his dad, who was pretty hard right leaning. But as he grew older, people saw his politics as pretty contradictory and controversial because he started to become more progressive. And that was something that was attributed to his marriage to Jane Fonda because
Yeah.
she's
Jane
an
Fonda
activist
is
baddie.
super progressive and amazing and
Yeah, she has a cool
wonderful.
mugshot picture.
And I don't know how she ended up even marrying this guy in the first place, but I'm glad she was able
Probably was
to.
hot.
Yeah,
Well,
he
she's a fire sign
was.
too. She's
But
not. I quit astrology.
but yeah, I don't know. Hopefully she brought him over to the not so dark side at some point. But while claiming to be an arch conservative Republican with warm ties to Christian evangelicals and far right John Birch Society members, he also befriended the Cuban leader Fidel Castro and defended the repressive conduct of the communist Chinese government.
A quick Google says that Jane Fonda and Ted Turner married because they shared an intense magnetic attraction and deeply respected each other's drive.
Okay.
Okay.
I
When's
wonder
her
if they
birthday?
have,
When's her birthday?
let me see. I wonder if they have nodal synastry and Pluto synastry. She was born December 21st,
All right, I
1937.
don't have to quit.
Sag baddie. Okay. So he also donated $1 billion to the United Nations, which is an organization that is hated by most American conservatives. He adored hunting, yet he became a darling of environmentalists because he bought more than 1 million acres of wilderness and ranch land and set it aside as nature preserves. So he's to me, it's very contradictory, but also very mutable, like where he's just like,
He's
I will
pretty
do both.
enigmatic. It seems.
Yeah, he's just, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want.
Hell
I don't
yeah.
care if it contradicts me.
Yeah.
But he was a big proponent of healthcare reform bills like the Affordable Care Act. Again, very controversial for someone who's supposed to be a super Republican. But Dana, is there anything in his chart that shows that he would be a big philanthropist?
Yes. So his chart ruler, he's a Sagittarius rising, of course. So his chart ruler is Jupiter, and his is in Aquarius in his third house.
Ah,
Aquarius is the populace. It's all the people. It's the the sign is the water bearer. So it's someone who gives water to all the people. And then the third house is a sense of locality. Everyone's a neighbor. Then Jupiter is a planet of goodwill and abundance. So wanting to spread that out instead of perhaps hoarding it necessarily.
he basically was talking about his money and he was like, I just want to give it to help the future. Basically, that's not the exact quote, but he basically was like, why should my money basically just sit around doing nothing?
He wants to give it all away, which
Yeah.
is what more billionaires should be thinking about instead of just getting on planes with Trump to go to China for God knows what reason.
Wait, what?
I didn't even know that.
Oh, Trump's in China and a bunch of billionaires went with him, and it's very
What?
sus that he brought, instead of bringing members of his cabinet, he just brought a gaggle of billionaires.
Cool.
Everyone, what are you guys doing? What are you up to?
Yeah, especially since you destroyed the economy trying to put tariffs on everyone to make everything American made. And now you're going to China with a bunch of billionaires.
Gas was $5.25 yesterday.
Yeah.
God.
So back to Ted. In 2018, Ted announced he had Lewy body dementia, which is a type of a dementia characterized by changes in sleep, behavior, cognition, movement, and regulation of automatic bodily functions. Unlike some other dementias, memory loss is not an early symptom, and the disease worsens over time and is usually diagnosed when cognitive impairment interferes with normal daily functioning.
In an interview, Jane Fonda said that by Ted publicizing his management of the disease, he would give many more people the opportunity to learn about it.
The last time people saw Ted in public was during a celebration for former President Jimmy Carter and former First Lady Rosalind Carter's 75th wedding anniversary in 2021, and then again for Ted's 85th birthday celebration in 2023. So it's been a minute.
But in January 2025, Turner was hospitalized with pneumonia. Lynn later recuperated at a rehab facility. And then in May of 2026, Ted passed away peacefully at his home in Florida, surrounded by his family. So what was going on when he died, Dana?
So May 6, 2026, Lamont, Florida. The sun is in Taurus, moon's in Capricorn, very earthy, very billionaire. It's his third Saturn return. So that's what's taken him. Saturn, the Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper.
Yeah. Also, the sun is conjunct his natal south node in his sixth house. So it's an end of life,
Yes.
a health thing. And then he's in a fourth house, Jupiter year. The fourth house has to do with the end of life. His transiting Jupiter is in Cancer in his natal eighth house of death. And then Jupiter is also his chart ruler. So Jupiter transiting his eighth house underscores that death theme. And then Neptune is conjunct his natal IC. IC is also related to
Damn.
the end of life, and it's Neptune, so it's nebulous, it's spiritual. He's moving on.
He's moving on. Dang, all right, Ted. If you want to look at more into his life, he, despite, like we said, being a bigot, he was controversial, but he also did some good in the world, which is more than we can say about a lot of billionaires.
He had a Benjamin Button in terms of being evil to being good, it sounds like.
Yeah.
He started even.
Yeah.
Yeah. This makes me want to learn more about Jane Fonda, actually.
Yeah, I was thinking we should do an episode on
We
her.
should do an episode on her,
Should
and
be
then we
fun.
can look into their synastry.
Yes.
All right.
You already know that they have
well,
the Sagittarius in common.
They do. That's our quick tidbit on Ted Turner for Allegedly in the News. And with that, I'm Elise.
I'm Dana.
And I'm Sarah.
And this is Allegedly Astrology.
Bye.
Good night and good luck.